It is the fracture of her first rib.
Because it looks like these otters are fixing to have relations right
Still
next
have
to
the
that
power
dam.
to soothe
And help
myself,
on
but the irrepressible power
You wake up alive. You wake up alive. You wake up alive. So long, feel my wings sometimes.
500 words or less. Tell a complete story. Sometimes have a twist ending. The rules of flash fiction are simple but challenging, and have drawn a group of writers to the Little Falls Public Library each week to share their work. They add one additional rule. The word of the week must be used someplace in the story. Flashcast is a showcase of their work, and each episode will feature stories inspired from the word of the week. The content that arises is astounding, the talent superb, and the creativity infectious. These stories are streaks of lightning, charged, compressed, and certain to entertain. Welcome to Flashcast.
The Spring of Wisdom. It began as a trickle, an inkling of an idea. From a crevice in bedrock, it seeped and burbled, clean, clear, cold, constantly renewed as water flowed from the depths. As a wee mite, barely 4, she discovered it when she strayed from Papa's side while walking in the glade. Its gurgle, the sunlight flashing on its ever-moving surface, entranced her. Papa had warned never to eat or drink anything in the wilds unless he said it was safe, but surely this inviting water held no ill, and so she had knelt down and sipped tentatively. Delicious. Water crisp as a bite from an apple, pure as the stars, in such an unexpected place. The spring seemed to squeeze itself from nothing more than rock, existing with no apparent water source. Akin to water she helped pull up from the well, yet different, sweeter. It made her feel independent. She became aware of things, sounds, movement. The powerful response frightened her. Perhaps the water bursting from rock was harmful. Because she had done the forbidden, she did not tell Papa about the spring. But over the years, she returned often, drawn by the remembrance of the first sip. Dipping her cupped hands in the spring of wisdom, bringing the water to her lips, she felt a special communion with the plants and animals dwelling there. The Spring of Wisdom, she had dubbed it, because it made her feel sage beyond her age. Not until Papa's unexpected death and Mama's deep mourning did she discover the true magic of the spring. It was an accident, really. Slipping away, she poured out her anguish of loss into the pure waters. Not only was Papa gone, but Mama too, it seemed. When she finished her story of grief, she looked into the dancing pool and saw the broken face of her mother. "So this is where you have been coming all these years. I should have known," Mama said. "You knew of this spring? Where do you think I wandered of an evening while you and your father shared tales? I come here to think, to unburden my heart, to sip the water that renews my spirit. Its music brings me joy. Its seclusion gives me independence. Even Papa stole away to this water. I let him keep his secret." "Papa, too? I thought this spring was mine, making me wise, opening my eyes." "Not the water, the secret," Mama said. "The secret? You mean me doing something forbidden?" "Yes, forging independence by your actions. Courage to strike out, act on your own. Maybe not always wise, but experience teaches lessons obedience never will." "The spring was my surreptitious indulgence. Without the secrecy, it won't feel the same." "Maybe not. We will continue, though, vigilantly arriving at different times, protecting our independence. Perhaps now forging an alliance which maintains our freedom. We utilize lessons taught by experience to strengthen our wisdom, pursuing self-reliance. Secrecy no longer necessary. Papa or no Papa, we carry on."
springs eternal. We have this thing broken in our minds as women and men where when things become good, something subconscious starts to assume this is the way that it is now. The good times will continue forever. If anything, they're only going to get better. This amazingness with us, this moment now, this is the new normal. We live in a place that's cold. We live in a place that for centuries back, as far as the folks we stole this land from can even remember, we had 6 weeks of the world's most beautiful spring and 6 weeks of the world's most gorgeous autumn, counterbalanced by 2 months of black fly choked, soup sweatbox summer, and then a half year of wind-swept frigid despair. It's why you can buy a 2-family house around here for a pair of boots and a sandwich. We had a few years there, just a few, one hand's worth at best, where the winter was mild or was short or was both. And now all of a sudden we gripe at our bookend blizzards, Thanksgiving and Easter. It was always that way on an average, but a short string of flukes, and we suddenly started to believe we lived in Savannah, not at the edge of the Adirondack Mountains. Mormons in flight from dire persecution chose parched Utah salt flats over this tundra. Why would we be any more blessed? This, of course, is not a bug, it's a feature. This is how we rose from caves and trees and how we kept going to eventually rule and ruin this earth. The instinctive push to believe the tough times are fleeting. If we just get over that next ridge, and when we got ourselves to a little milk and honey, it would just keep flowing forever. It's how we overcome all kinds of war and diseases as a species, even though, for any one of us, this hope is probably madness. Destiny is our potential, where you could go at the highest expression of what you are. Fate is where you end up. In storybooks, these two become conflated, confused, become the same. We do as such in real life too, except in the real, it's not always true. Were life box scored like a baseball game, I would have led all leagues in missed opportunities for success from the ages of 22 to 32. I had myself a Hall of Fame decade of botched chances, more than most people get in 10 lifetimes, and I managed to blow every single one of them. Yet here I am, still plodding along, and that thing similarly damaged inside of me is why. We are broken for a reason. It's a life hack by life itself to keep us going even when the act of moving forward is more stubborn stupidity than anything noble or true. Keeps us going through the back end of this seemingly endless, cruel winter that we still inhabit. After all, it's always said, hope springs eternal. That hope springs eternal. Hope is a spring that's eternal. Lush, eternal spring.